With Legends Fest 2025 just less than 2 weeks out from beginning, it is time for the predictions. And I've seen a number of them. You got this here, this here, this here. Amazing predictions. Everyone's got some great ideas. But this idea and these that I have for each part of the celebration for the new units of the premium, at least rarity, I think will be the peak and best options that are most likely to appear. So enjoy. For part one, there's a good, amount of copium they could go around. Last year we had the Red Zamasu, and you're wondering, what's the prelude to that? Well, we got future stuff, right? TVB, Yellow Goku Black, and that was awesome. But this year, we got Purple Vegito Blue. Well, we just ended a future campaign. What could that really lead into? Boom! Great question. A Synchro Gauge Fusion. The same thing we got for 6th year with the SV fusing and the fusing GB. Well, what are we missing? We got fusing SV, fusing GB. There's two others that are very much on the horizon of choices of, picking. And the one I would go for is fusing Super Gogeta. It has been so long since a standalone Super Gogeta, literally 2021, by the way, a long, long time ago, as well as that is the pinnacle of what's going to sell. Yeah, no, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Synchro would make the bands. But I do think people are more on the horizon of Android buff with the movie stuff that's going on. Because we got Android 13. It's kind of like a weird, we got some Android stuff. They're only movies, so we're going to buff movies more and make them excel. Fusion buffs, we've been getting, subliminal ones over the time. With Kefla being a very obvious one, USV. But MZ is not really intended for fusions. Well, here's MZ. Here's CMZ. Who's that core glue to make fusions a genuine roster? Android 13 is technically not a fusion until he does his revival state. Boom! Fusing Synchro Gogeta there. Would it be that glue third? And obviously, yes, 13 would still fit, and that's a PO team right now that runs around CMZ, MZ, 13. But I do think it is a festival, and what they want is the money. Mr. Daima Miniku, while I do think he's possible, I'm there. I think if you're going for big money, you're going to put a fusion in part one. Most likely. And if you don't, you're probably not going to make as much as you did previous years. Looking at you, 7th anniversary part 1 with Evo Vegeta. Yeah, I'm going to assume this. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to assume 7th year made just a bit less in part 1 than 6th year, and then previous years that had fusions within them. 2nd year, 1st year, 3rd year. I'm going to assume 7th year is on the bottom ends of those charts for that specific month. So fusing Synchro Gogeta color, and we could discuss, we'll just put it out there, let's say a yellow. We're due for a yellow. We haven't had a yellow in 6 months since Kid Goku, who just got his plat, given we got Puddle Zenkai, Kid Goku's plat, even Namek Goku still existing, but we haven't got a new yellow LF in 6 months. I'm with that. That's where I'm going for that. But the other LF in part 1, what would it be? And that's a great question, and the answer is we are due for remakes. You got Namek Goku being the remake of the OG. What is one of the most hyped moments ever that has not got a new character in billions and billions of years, it feels? And I know you hate him. I know you hate his every singular form, because every form of him has become a demon. Father-son Kamehameha Gohan just feels right. Again, it has been so long since it's ever got a character. Even Mr. Ultra Rathan that we all know of is kind of the Cell thing, where it is, yes, from basically the same situations, but not the exact same moment. That's not a remake of him. If we got OG Namek remake, and given OG Namek to Blue Namek was what, post 50 years, so that's 5-year gap between the two. FSK dropped before OG Namek, so if anyone ever deserves one, it would be this guy. I know people are scared of hybrid buffs, they're terrified. Let's be coy, at least, and honest with ourselves a little bit. Ultra Beast wasn't that terrifying to everything, given everything else that existed at the time. You still got UMV doing his thing. You got Super Saiyan 3 Fest Goku, TVB, Red Miniku had a lock in every attack. It was getting troublesome, even for Ultra Beast to not, compete, but he was in a little bit of a, situation there. He wasn't that bad compared to other Gohans we've had in past. Drop a blue that does impeccable burst damage. MZ doesn't even get his gauge, because the only issue MZ has right now is they didn't fix him. They inflated him. This unit is easy to fall off if you drop a god damage blue. And who else but Gohan that's pissed off, whether it be transforming or not? I don't think he needs to be. I think it's standalone is fine. the aura of the moment is enough. You drop that guy, he's blue. You got not real full synergy within the first two units, given we did that kind of last year. I don't think TVB and Transformer Goku Black were meant to really harmonize. Even with this past Annie, MUI and Evo did not harmonize as well with their stat gap. These two, you could cope some harmony, but they're not even meant to. Again, they would start as Goku feuded with the Synchro fusing SG that I have as the theory, but regardless, they're meant to get their own teams. They get their own builds. Pirates are already building up to something with the manga Gohan and Puddle. You got something already set there as a precedent. With, again, the fusion, it would be very simple within a fusion team, within a movie team, within a Sun Fam team, Vegeta Clan team. All these teams just coexist already, and just putting that third slot, putting that, here's a new god to exist, it makes it more diverse. Because right now, the game is run by PO and boosted DB. Well, what's going to happen when DB gets up boost? It's back to PO and the Fest units. Hybrid team, movie team, fusion team, Sun Fam team, Vegeta Clan team. That's 5 teams that could coexist within these 2 character buffs. So not only is it hype choices and things I think people would enjoy, it's also giving a perspective of allowance to, diversity of PvP. This is not me really wanting this. This is just me understanding how the game does operate. So Part 2 would be Synchro Fusing Gotenks. With it being you start as Goten and Trunks, obviously, just like you would for the Synchro Fusing Gogeta of Super Gogeta, and then you move into Gotenks once you get the fusion gauge built up, whether it be because you did greens or you tagged out or yada yada yada. Yes, another Synchro. I do think they want to spam this mechanic as it does go, as I just stated, that if Gohan does get buffed, Gohan is going to get buffed to the moon. So another hybrid buff is right there for the taking. Now, would it be positive? This is what they do. That's the thing. Sometimes they just span the same 2 tags for the entire celebration. They just move with that. With it being the last festival, they didn't. But the one prior to that, here we got Beast Gohan. And then we got Ultra UI. Here's Goku Bardock. Well, that's Sun Fam, Sun Fam, Sun Fam, Sun Fam. A little bit of hybrid sprinkled, but it's obviously intended for Sun Fam. As well as, here's Evo Ken and Ultra UI. Well, here's Unireps. It's Unireps Sun Fam, the entire parts of all the celebration of that previous festival. So, us doing the same thing here with it being here's fusion buffs, and here's hybrid buffs, and here's fusion buffs, and here's hybrid buffs. That kind of just feels like it falls in line more so than what they do for the most things that they do try to attempt for. So, element for them, again, it's most likely going to pair as well with the Gohan, who, if he is a blue, I would like to assume this would be a tag, whether it be yellow, most likely not, because the part 1 other LF is yellow, a purple tag Goten and Trunks that do fuse into Gotenks, whether it be Super Saiyan 1 or Super Saiyan 3 by the end of it. They might do a Super Saiyan 3, here's a timer count thing, they do those things from some time for, some actual anime accuracy of, oh my god, this only lasts for so long, and then here we go, here's a timer count silliness. But whether it be 1 or 3, it don't matter. I do think that is a very clear part 2 that could happen. But there's another LF, and this might shock you with the other choice. That was Rage Bait. It is another hybrid buff. And you're thinking, who else could it be? I mean, we already got FSK that you're thinking of. You got Goten and Trunks. What are you thinking? Baby Pan from Dragon Ball Super? What are you thinking? No. It's much more realistic. It would be Super Saiyan Gohan from the second Broly movie, where Goku comes back, Goten comes back, well, from almost being dead, slaughterized by Broly, and Gohan, where they do the trio family Kamehameha. We're sticking a theme here. Fusions and family. Fusion, family. And that's where it would go. Now, again, what would this be? I actually do think it would be an off-color character. I don't think it would fit the same premise as the Goten and Trunks, actually. I do think it just kind of fit on a team that coexists, like a different variant. They do this, here's a range, here's a melee team. So let's say you're going to run, FSK remade, as well as Puddle, as well as Goten and Trunks. That's, good enough color synergy. And then you got Manga Gohan over here. Well, here we go. This team, this trio, technically by the end of their LF, that does the Family Kamehameha, let's make this new Gohan green. And then Family Kamehameha all together now. Here's red-green color synergy. And you just put Puddle on either because he can flow on either team because he is that support guy and just does his role very well. So, Yeah, part 2 looking a bit spooky with Majin Buu Saga, movies, hybrids being the main focuses, the real main being, again, movies and hybrids. We are keeping consistency here at least. That's what Legends likes to do with their buffs. Whether it be anything of positive or negative, they do like to keep it consistent within a theme premise of, if we're going to buff this, we're going to uber buff this. And 9 times out of 10, they really like to stick to the same tags. This one here, again, the main premises would be movies and hybrids. Each part having movies and hybrids. We'll just continue that. But then the Ultra is always kind of a curveball, and you never know if they're going to help the previous LS or just murder their entire stock. So let's get to the Ultra, and this should be predictable. Ultra would be Super Saiyan 4 full power Goku, and he would be blue. Again, I've said this from time to time here. Sometimes the Ultra is trying to help the previous units. Ultra UI was trying to help Evo Ken. Great, awesome. Ended up helping Goku Bardock, but tried their best. You got the fusions from previous celebrations. UVB, who was he really trying to help? Sword of Hope? Well, he's kind of just Sword of Hope victim for time to time there. As well as he's not helping Go Frieza. He's not helping the Gammas. Well, he's just kind of the off-put there. UGB, who is he helping? It's an off-put. Super Saiyan 4 Goku would kind of fit that off-put role more than he would fit that helping team role, given he'd be Sun Fam. Here's part 1, Sun Fam. Here's part 2, also Sun Fam. So everything is Sun Fam technically, and this is where the meta gets ruined, by the way, because that's what the Ultra always does. I can't control this. Whether I say Ultra Topo or Super Saiyan 4 Goku, the meta would still be ruined, whether leader slot or actual team synergy of how it works. And I do think his Ultra ability would actually be Sun Fam, because the whole point is that it's like everyone around that's kind of like family or is family is giving them the power to go Super Saiyan 4 full power there. So blue Super Saiyan 4 LF Goku. Why? Or LF Ultra Goku. Why? Because we haven't had a blue Ultra since Turles. And Turles is not new. Blue is our, second or most underused color for Ultra. We need something, bro. We gotta get something there. So Super Saiyan 4 Goku kind of shoo-in. I've heard UI Goku, but we just got blue UI 6 months ago. We're really gonna get another UI Goku be the Ultra of, the silver hair. It's possible, but the more plausible thing is most likely going to be this Super Saiyan 4 man in my eyes. And I even heard, here's Ultra DBS Broly. Stop. If he's not with somebody else, they're not going to do a villain. They don't do that. They are insecure about that. They have a right to be. Villains don't sell as well as heroes. That's just how it goes. I mean, everything I've mentioned is a hero that's dropping, right? Most times, out of 10, here's CMZ, the anomaly. Here's Yellow Goku Black, the anomaly. Those are the 2 anomalies from all this game's time where they are villains. And guess what? They're always paired with the fusion because they know they won't sell as much as a hero would. They never really want to drop a solo villain. They never do for a big celebration because their money is meant to be made here during this time. These every 6-month spans, that's their money. Are they going to risk Ultra DBS Broly solo? I know he makes money in Japan. I know he's popular. You know who's more popular? Goku. I'm with that, and I'm sticking that.